Spoken or Dead Space Remake to be a PlayStation Plus Essential title. That's not going to happen, so I tried to keep it within the realm of possibility, and again, let's get right into it. Hopefully, we'll see some of these in 2023, and let's start things off with Vanquish. Now, Vanquish is the one game I was talking about that was a Plus game before. However, it was a PlayStation Plus game all the way back in, I believe, February of 2013. It was the PlayStation 3 version of the game. If you have your PlayStation 3 still out, you were a PS Plus subscriber back then, and you have Vanquish through that, alright, you got me. Outside of that, I think everybody else that just has a PS4 or a PS5, and they weren't a Plus subscriber back then, especially because it wasn't mandatory for online play, Vanquish would be a really nice offering. You know, it's a game that goes for $25, but on sale you'll find it for $5 to $10, and it's a quality game. It's an over-the-top Platinum Games title, and Platinum games are already over-the-top, but this one takes it to 11, and it's a stylish and chaotic game. The story isn't anything to write home about, but it's a lot of fun. It is on the shorter side of things, so as a Plus title, I think it would be a nice offering for people to get in, have a great time with it over a weekend, and then move on with their backlog. But it's a great game and I would love to see it. Next up, Disco Elysium, the final cut. This sometimes goes on sale for like $15. It's been as cheap as like $9.99 on PC. I don't think it's hit that price point on consoles yet. But Disco Elysium is a fantastic narrative-driven game. Now, it's definitely a game that's not for everyone. It's methodical, it's slower paced, it's very decision-heavy, and it's very dialogue-heavy. If you're expecting something that's guns blazing right out the gate, it's high-octane, fast-paced action, that's not what you're getting out of Disco Elysium. Disco Elysium, again, is a very methodical story, and it really unfolds in a great way, and it becomes an incredibly engrossing experience as you give it more time and you spend more time with it. But I think aesthetic presentation in this game is fantastic. I think the writing in this game is absolutely tremendous, and that is of utmost importance when you're talking about a story-driven game, and Disco Elysium does a great job with that. As a Plus game, I think a lot of people that maybe were adverse to checking a game like this out would ultimately try it out and realize that it's a game that they can really get into. And again, as a Plus title, you know, the risk will be mitigated if it ultimately isn't a game that's up your alley. Next up, I gotta give the guys over at Vanillaware some love, and you guys should too. They make some fantastic games, and I want to highlight both Odin Sphere Left Tracer and 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. Either one of those as a Plus game in the year 2023 would be tremendous. Let's start off with the more recent release in 13 Sentinels. This is a tremendous game, and I would say it's underrated, but I did hear it sold like 800,000 copies, which for a game that's more of a niche release, that's a successful number, and I'm sure Sega and everyone involved with the publishing of this game is happy with that sale number. Nonetheless, it's a game that more people need to play. It is an incredible narrative. It's a little bit confusing at first, but it really comes together by the end, and how they do it, and this is a type of storyline that's very easy to mess up. When you're talking about different characters' viewpoints, time traveling, all this kind of stuff, it's very easy to make one error and everything goes awry. But 13 Sentinels is a very cohesive story, and it still has that great visual style that you know from Vanillaware. Unfortunately, the combat system, like the RTS style gameplay, that's not great, but it's fine. It's nothing that's bad. It's just that every other aspect of the game is so strong that that portion doesn't hold up as strongly, but still, 13 Sentinels is tremendous, and I want to see more people play the game. As a Plus title, I think that would happen. Odin Sphere is also really good. It's a PS2 title, and it is different than 13 Sentinels for sure, but it still has a great art style, great soundtrack, solid action RPG here as well. And these Vanillaware titles hold up in price, man. Like, 13 Sentinels is on sale right now, still going for $24. Odin Sphere, when it goes on sale, I believe it's like $15. So, you know, either of these games would be tremendous as a Plus offering, so let's hope that happens. Next up, this is purely selfish. Okami HD as a Plus game, I think would be fantastic, and whatever gets more people to play Okami and fuels my selfish desire of Okami 2 one day happening. I don't know if it is ever gonna happen, but we want a sequel to Okami. This is usually ranked among the best PlayStation 2 games of all time. Like, when you see lists of like the top 25 or top 50 PS2 games, Okami has to be among the upper echelon of those titles. You know, a lot of people will rank it top 3. Some people might rank it as their #1 PS2 game of all time. I don't know if I would go that far, but this is a game that is so aesthetically pleasing. It's got some Zelda vibes going on for it as well, but it's just such a well-crafted game that more people need to play, and the HD remastering isn't anything anything blowaway, but guess what? It's Okami. It's already a blowaway game, and whatever you can do to make it a little bit better, you're taking a blowaway game and making it a little bit better. So this is absolutely something I'd like to see as a plus game. Next up, I know we gotta get more, you know, big budget titles as plus titles. How about Nier Automata, man? This game came out all the way back in early 2017. I know it's a game that a ton of people checked out, but it's also, you know, more of an off-the-wall Japanese title that, you know, some people may have not wanted to check out, but as a plus game, I think it would open up the floodgates for even more people to play it and realize that Nier Automata is a tremendous game. Another Platinum Games developed game, so you know you got that stylish as all hell action gameplay. Obviously, one of the best soundtracks that you're going to come across in a video game, bar none. Nier Automata's soundtrack is tremendous, and it's got a pretty interesting story as well. Again, a story that's a little bit confusing at first, but comes together by the end, and quite a bit of content to do within Automata as well, I think, as a plus game. Makes all the sense in the world, especially given that by the time it would be a plus game, we'd be 6 years removed since the initial release of the game, so it's not like Square Enix is losing a lot of value and they can get a healthy check from Sony. Next up, we gotta get more people playing Dreams, man. Media Molecule is a fantastic studio. Little Big Planet was awesome, but Dreams for some reason did not get the buzz and the attention that Little Big Planet did. It does seem like it has a hardcore community, and Media Molecule did say that they're gonna keep Dreams supported for the long term. This came out back in early 2020. You can find it on sale. Dreams has been as cheap as like $8. I believe it's $8 right now in the PlayStation Store. There's a trial if you want to try it out, but it would be advantageous for more people to play this game, and once you offer Dreams to people and they try it out, that's when they're ultimately going to get engaged into the experience, trying out all of the various creations and whatnot. And it's not like you have to get into this game for the creation suite. I never got into Little Big Planet for the creation suite. I got Little Big Planet because I wanted to experience people that are way more creative than me, way more talented than me, and witness their creations and experience their creations. And that was awesome, and that's the same case with Dreams, so you don't have to be super into the creative aspect of this game to enjoy it. It's just a very compelling title, and more people should play it. You know, it is a very cheap game when it goes on sale like it is now, but I still think as a plus game it would be something a lot of people would appreciate. Next up, a game that I often mention, why not throw in Bastion as a plus title, man? Supergiant Games has so much buzz these days. Hades is probably a game that, you know, probably won't be a plus title, but Bastion is a game that came out all the way back in 2015 on the PlayStation 4. Why not give a great classic indie title as a plus game? Bastion is one of my, you know, favorite downloadable titles that I've ever played, and really was one of the very first that showed me that downloadable games can be top-notch, and for a lot of people, Bastion was that game, and Bastion is just a fantastic action title with a great soundtrack that has just aged tremendously well. Great soundtrack, fantastic narration, and yeah, you can get it on sale for like $4, but, you know, as a tertiary plus title, I think it would work pretty well. Not even tertiary. I think saying Bastion is any kind of tertiary game is doing it a disservice. It's a fantastic game, and as a plus game, it would be very good. Next up, here's a major game that, you know, probably not gonna happen, but Sekiro Shadows Die Twice came out 3 years ago or 4 years ago by the time it would be a plus game. And I think, you know, you don't see a lot of Souls games as plus titles, but Sekiro is one that has held up in price, and I think people would be very appreciative of it being a plus game. Like, I often see comments in our videos saying, like, why doesn't Sekiro see a deeper discount? Well, it's the fact that From Software games just hold up in value, and they know that they can be charged a premium for it because people really want to play them, and that is the reality of this situation. So Sony would most likely have to cut a hefty check to get Sekiro as a plus game, but guess what? They make healthy money off PlayStation Plus subscription, so we should get a big titles, and a Sekiro as a plus title would be a very nice addition. Like, it's a game that I know a lot of you guys own, but there's a lot of people that don't own it, and I think they would be very appreciative of checking it out through Plus. Couple more games, lower key titles here. Inside by Playdead. Maybe not fair to call this a lower key game, but comparatively speaking to how many people checked out Limbo, I do feel Inside is a bit low key. It still has that tremendous darker vibe going on for it, and Playdead, everything they did well with Limbo really parlays into Inside as well. It's a very, very atmospheric game. Great vibe to it, great atmosphere, and I strongly recommend you guys to check it out. It's a game that I often recommend whenever it's on sale, But, you know, given the fact that a lot of people didn't check out this game, especially comparatively to Limbo, I feel at least that's just the vibe I get and the perception I have. I think it would be great as a Plus game, and I'm really curious to see what Playdead is doing next. I know they're working on another game, but Inside came out all the way back in 2016, so hopefully we hear what they're doing next here soon. And lastly, I do want to give a shout out to Undertale. I mean, Undertale is one of those iconic RPGs and, you know, lower key titles, downloadable games, I don't know really what you want to call it, indie titles, and it's a fantastic RPG that tackles some pretty interesting themes, and very much a throwback. If you played RPGs in the Super Nintendo era, it's going to be right up your alley, but, you know, some people might not be inherently interested in a game like this and wanting to drop $9 to $10 on it when it's on sale. Why not offer it as a Plus game? Again, it's a game that is a little bit on the older side at this point. It came out in 2017. I'm sure they can figure out a deal to get this on PlayStation Plus and people will end up enjoying it. But that is going to do it for me. This is just 10 games I'd like to see on PlayStation Plus Essential in 2023. We could probably do another video taking a look